The people you should be talking to is your doctor, your clinicians, about what to do with an increased work of breathing. But let's say I saw that. Let's say in a class I saw somebody with an increased work of breathing. First thing I double check is how deep are you breathing? Let's see, show me your regular breathing, or I'll be watching it as they're exercising. Let's say I see that, I double check and see how deep they're breathing, because maybe they're not pulling in enough oxygen into their lungs. Maybe they're not getting rid of enough CO2. So I'll tell them, okay, let's slow it down a little bit. Let's find your plateau. Okay, so at this speed, at 2.5 miles per hour, you're getting a heightening, a very higher work of breathing than if you go 1 mile an hour. Well, that's obvious because you're increasing the exercise, right? You're increasing the exercise, so we're going to have a heightening of breathing. And that's a good thing, That's a very good thing. So somebody's having a heightening of work of breathing, and I see their pulse oximeter, their oxygen is low and their heart rate is high. How do I fix that problem? I want to get them to a better normal. How do I fix that problem? Well, that's a ventilation issue. That means they're not pulling enough oxygen and they're not getting rid of enough CO2. Needless to say, the oxygen is low, the heart rate's high. So if the heart rate's high, that means CO2 is still too high in the body, right? It's too high. So we have to stay within the maximum heart rate areas. That's 40 to 80% of your maximum heart rate. Simple math is you take 220 minus your age, that's your maximum heart rate. You multiply that, by 40%, 60, 75, and 80. That's all you're doing. And you find out what your maximum target heart rates are during exercise. If you start feeling shortness of breath, during your exercises, that could be perfectly normal. It's how bad is it? Using a Borg scale, 10 being the worst, 0 being the least, how out of breath do you feel right then and there? Okay. If your numbers are going too high, like your Borg, let's say you give me a Borg scale of 7. Okay, meaning starting to become unmanageable. Your work of breathing is starting to become unmanageable. So you're exercising on a bike or you're walking and you're doing something like this, and you do a talk test, let's say, okay? And I'm talking like this. Let's say Alex said, "How out of breath do you feel?" And he was like, "My breathing is okay." Okay, now I know. Okay, that person is saying 1 to 2 words average, and they're gasping for air every time they're talking. So that puts them at a 7 to an 8 on a Borg scale. That means the work of breathing is too high. So I need to slow them down a little bit. I need to slow that person down a little bit. Maybe pick up their breath, pulling in a little bit more air. Maybe they're breathing too shallow, and we want them to breathe in a little bit deeper. Let's see if that did the trick. Okay. And we never want to hit our maximum heart rates, but we want to increase that work of breathing a little bit because we're working on developing tolerance to a higher work of breathing exercise.